Hello, today let's talk about the attributes and perks revamp. What has really changed? While the total attributes points you can earn was decreased from the big 390 points to just 60. And why this huge cut? Well, it all makes sense. You can now max out 3 attributes instead of only 1 like before. Before, we were able to only max out 1 unless you raised up your level cap 60 with mods, okay? There was apparently an exploit that would allow you to max out more than just 1, but that was fixed, okay? Before, you were only able to max out just 1 attribute, now 3, which is fantastic, okay? And now it only costs 1 point to level up an attribute. That's why the developers had to cut down to 60 the total attributes points, okay? So no matter how level up it is an attribute already, it only costs just 1 to keep leveling it up, okay? So before, the more you level up an attribute, the more expensive it will become, okay? So after you level up, after you reach a perk, you will spend more and more every time, okay? So now for every 5 points you spend in a single attribute, you will unlock a new perk. And after every 10 and 20 points, you will be able to choose not just one, but between 2 different perks, making the attributes build a more customizable experience. And this will lead you, yes, to have more different types of characters every time you reset your attributes, okay? And for example, if you cannot decide between 2 perks, you can opt to choose between them later. Sometimes the choice between 2 perks is not an easy situation. It took me a while to decide which one I would go for. Sometimes I like the 2 perks, but I can choose only one. So sometimes I can opt to just go for one of those later, which is a good thing to go for, okay? Also, new attributes were added and some old attributes were removed, but merged into the ones that were kept in the attributes table, so they were not completely removed, just hidden, okay? They were just mixed with the current ones that exist after the patch 3.0, okay? And the removed attributes were accuracy, encumbrance, and survival. After 3.0 is implemented, the current attributes list should be strength, which makes you deal more damage with strength weapons and increases your carry capacity. Agility, where precision, skill and speed keep you alive. Deft weapons deal more damage and you have increased stamina with this attribute. Vitality, a crucial attribute that will increase your hit points. Authority, a new attribute that makes easier to knock out trolls and leads your followers to deal more damage and heal before you. Grit, the good old attribute that will increase your stamina and armor. Expertise, attribute that has an important role for building and carrying extra weight. About the strength attribute. As you can see, it really works mainly with damage dealing, but also a bit with encumbrance, since the stronger you are, the more weight you can carry. It makes a lot of sense. When it comes to agility, the agility is also going to work in armory with a strength attribute, and the other way around, helping you dealing extra damage, depending on which types of weapons you are going for. You will move yourself more easily and faster overall, and your stamina will benefit with this if you go further into spending more in these attributes. I'm glad that the vitality attribute will stay in here, which makes sense because it's one of the most important things to look after in my opinion. I like how the developers kept the fierce vitality perk in game and made it the first perk to unlock in this attribute now. It gives passive health regeneration, which is something I usually want for very often, and made me save up some healing items. They have changed the other perks and we can still significantly benefit from putting points into this attribute. you can increase your maximum health significantly or even benefit from when you take damage. Authority is a very new attribute. This is a follower-focused attribute. You can empower your trolls by playing around with your points spent in this attribute, together with the new elixirs out there now too. You can make their health to get more easily regenerated, or choose between increasing their own attributes or have more than one follower at a time, which is a huge benefit. This comes at a cost though. It says here that our statistics will no longer influence our followers' damage output. Don't forget that certain rituals linked with the sorcery feature, of course, will benefit your followers in a certain way. The grit attribute was not removed, but adjusted. This one will benefit your stamina, obviously, and your defense. Expertise is a newly implemented utility attribute that seems to have a mix of the survival and encumbrance attributes merged into it. It will be very useful for when you are in a harvesting and building moods. The developers did not fully remove the survival and encumbrance perks after all. You can notice some of the best things from the previous attributes placed in this new expertise attribute in here. Become hungry and dehydrated more slowly, more efficient and fast resource harvesting, and full speed movement while fully encumbered. Or you can even opt to make structures a little more stable, which is a new perk. Now let's talk about the perk's corruption. You will not be able to see the option to corrupt your perks right away, since this takes some steps before you can do it. To enable the perk's corruption, guess what? You must be corrupted beforehand, and this means heavily corrupted. If you can still not see the options to corrupt your character, try getting that 50% corruption and it should work. But you still need to take a few more steps before you are able to start corrupting your attributes perks. Exactly, you have to become a sorcerer. Your next step is to collect enough soul essences in order to fill the attributes bars and corrupt the perks if you wish to. At this point you should have already learned basic sorcery and unlocked the word of power Soul Drain. If you did, then it's time to place down a sacrificial stone, then knock out a human NPC from a random camp, drag it with bindings to the stone, place a glass flask inside the stone inventory, perform the soul drain ritual, and collect the soul essence. Repeat this process every time you need to collect more of these soul essences, because likely you are going to need many more. Each soul essence equals to 1 attribute point. You can only corrupt 3 attributes: strength, vitality, and authority. To corrupt 1 perk, you will need about 5 essences. The current perk you have unlocked from 1 attribute will be replaced by a different corrupted perk, still linked with the type of attribute you are focusing the corruption on. You can distribute the corruption through all of the 3 different attributes if you wish to. Spending more soul essences after corrupting the first perks will increase those perks' power, but remember that corrupting your perks will cut your max health and stamina. To become corrupted and powerful to the max, you can opt for maxing out your strengths, vitality, and authority attributes once you reach the level cap and fully corrupt all of those 3 with enough soul essences. This at the cost of half of your health and stamina, of course, as I may have mentioned. Power demands sacrifice, isn't it? It will take a total of 60 soul essences to fully corrupt yourself. Think well about what you will do. Anyway, your corruption cannot be cleansed if you corrupt your perks, so to be able to get rid of it later, you really have to reset your attributes through the use of potions like the potion of bestial memory or the yellow lotus elixir. You know, it's just always up to you, alright? I'm linking down below on this video description things about corruption, a video about corruption. If you want to check that one out, feel free to do so. It's still up to date, hopefully. Okay, also these corrupted perks seem to be very powerful indeed. Okay, it's just a very weak version from the normal looking perks. Alright, it will give you a bigger amount of power, okay, in comparison. However, use with care because you will be physically more weak, okay? So let's just hope things are balanced enough and that your physical sacrifice is worth it. Be aware of the fact that these things can still be very prone to change, okay? But overall, I think the info that I'm showing you here will still be viable for a while, alright? If anything changes, we will be know eventually through Funcom or through other sources of info, okay? So thank you so much for watching and see you later.